Police Files. Stories from the files of the Moroccan police. Stories we present to you are from the heart of reality. We have deliberately changed the names of individuals and sometimes of places. And if any similarity or correspondence in names or events occurs, it is purely coincidental, nothing more. Police Files. Solomon's Seal. The final part. In yesterday's episode, the investigation concluded with the discovery of Rama Bent Ali, an employee at the counter of the National Savings Bank. She was the head of a gang comprising 3 men who preyed on elderly victims, withdrawing money from the bank, robbing them of their funds. The young 20-year-old Hassan Ben Mahmoud was the first to fall into the hands of the police, and was the one who led them to the head of the gang. When Rahma Bent Ali was confronted with the stolen items, including jewelry and other valuables found in her home, she had no choice but to confess and cooperate with the investigators. She admitted that the gang consisted of 3 men: Hassan Ben Mahmoud, Reda Ben Othman, and Hamid Ould El Haddad, known as Janta. Rama Bent Ali provided all the information about how her gang operated. From her position at the bank and the experience she had gained over the years, she knew that retirees came to the bank at the end of every month, between the 22nd and the 30th of each month, to withdraw their pensions and retirement benefits. Her task was to review transfers and checks. She would examine the amounts and observe the condition of the beneficiary. She would choose victims from among the elderly and those whose transfers were substantial. She preferred that the victims be women, as their resistance was less, and robbing them of what they had did not pose major difficulties. Using her mobile phone, she would contact one of her men inside the gang to be ready for the mission at the bank's entrance. As soon as the victim received their dues, the gang leader would call the man again to start carrying out the crime. When she finished her work in the evening, she would join him to take her share of the loot. She would divide the money with the men, her gang members, and keep the gold jewelry for herself. She would keep it for a period that could be long, and then sell it. The jewelry that was found in that box in Rama Bent Ali's house was the jewelry of a waiting victim. Brigadier Mustafa Ould El Mokhtar convinced the gang leader to cooperate with the investigators for her own benefit. He pushed her to cooperate in order to arrest Reda Ben Othman and Hamid Ould El Haddad, known as Janta. Rama agreed to set up 2 meetings for them in 2 cafes she used to meet her gang members in. Her first appointment was at 7:30 in the Friends Cafe with Reda Ben Othman. She took her place, and around her and beside her were the 2 female inspectors, Latifa and Suad. The presence of female officers did not raise suspicion. As soon as Reda Ben Othman arrived, he was seized and handcuffed with lightning speed and taken to the police station. Rahma Bent Ali's mission did not end there. Her second appointment was at 8 o'clock in the Al Omnia Cafe with Hamid Ould El Haddad, known as Janta, who was arrested with an ease matched only by the ease of arresting his friend Reda Ben Othman. The chapters of the case unfolded rapidly. At 8:30, the excellent officer Mohammed Ben Bakhta was at Reda Ben Othman's house, while Brigadier Mustafa Ould El Mokhtar decided to personally search the house of Janta, Hamid Ould El Haddad. In Reda Ben Othman's house, a number of personal papers and handbags belonging to individuals who had been robbed were found, which made the suspect confess to all his actions and his involvement in several assaults at the instigation of Rama Bent Ali. Brigadier Ould El Mokhtar was less fortunate. He found nothing that could provide any evidence of Hamid Ould El Haddad, known as Janta, being involved. However, during the house search, he noticed the presence of several luxurious men's suits. He did not seize those clothes, as the investigation was focused, until now, on other things. Janta said that since he left prison the last time, he had changed his behavior and his way of life, and had become a clothes trader. And that was the secret behind the presence of those luxurious men's suits in his house. Hamid Ould El Haddad's story seemed plausible and did not lack a supporting logic. Nevertheless, suspicion remained and questions lingered. Brigadier Mustafa Ould El Mokhtar wanted to expedite the proceedings. The operations room was a real beehive. When Janta, Hamid Ould El Haddad, was taken for fingerprinting, the young inspector, Latifa, noticed that on his right pinky finger was a ring of white metal, and that he was trying hard to hide the stone that adorned it. Her police intuition drove her to investigate the secret of that ring. When Janta was taken to his cell in pretrial detention, and after he had relinquished his belongings and handed them over to the guard, and after signing the deposit receipt, Inspector Latifa asked the guard to give her the ring in exchange for giving him a receipt for it. She rushed to Brigadier Mustafa's office. She found him busy with Janta's file. He is a known criminal with a record, but there is not enough evidence in his file today, she thought. Inspector Latifa placed the ring in front of Brigadier Mustafa. I believe that this ring is not ordinary. It was in Janta's hand. Since I arrested him, He was trying to hide the stone that the ring was adorned with. He was turning it inward into his palm and clenching it, so as not to draw his attention. I didn't take the ring until after the guard took it from him, along with all his personal belongings. Sir, I would like to show the ring to one of the goldsmiths, jewelry experts, to tell me its value and characteristics. The expertise carried out on the ring proved that it was one of the precious jewels whose manufacture is specialized by only 2 workshops. Inspector Latifa learned that the ring belonged to a wealthy family from Rabat. During the examination of the ring, it was cleaned and polished, and therefore, when Inspector Latifa returned it to Brigadier Mustafa, he could not hide his surprise. The police inspector learned from the ringmaker that he had made it some time ago for Mrs. Bent Rahal, who had given it to her husband, Othman Ben Rahal, on the occasion of their wedding anniversary. On one side of the ring's band, the wedding date was engraved. Inspector Latifa obtained all that information from the goldsmith who made the ring, and from him she also obtained the phone number of Mrs. Amina Bent Rahal. The path seemed paved for making significant progress in the investigation into the secret of the ring. In the evening, Inspector Latifa contacted Mrs. Bent Rahal and obtained her address and made an appointment with her for the next morning. Inspector Latifa took a colleague with her and they went to the Swizzy quarter. At the villa's gate, several cars were parked. It seemed that the matter concerned an event the family was experiencing. The 2 inspectors asked to meet Mrs. Amina. They were ushered into a large hall, where they found many attendees, at whose center sat a lady dressed in white. It became clear from the first glance that the matter concerned a condolence gathering. When Haja Amina saw them, she invited them to an adjacent room. There, Inspector Latifa introduced herself and her colleague and said that they were from the judicial police and that they were investigating a ring that was believed to belong to her husband. As soon as her eyes fell on the ring, she recognized it. It was in my husband's hand on the day he was killed, here in this villa 8 days ago. His killer waited for the opportunity when he was alone, then assassinated him and stole what he had with him of money. He stole the ring and also a Rolex watch that was on his wrist. He also stole all his suits that were in the closet, except for a few pairs of trousers that I had taken to the laundry. Haja Amina seemed to have realized that Inspector Latifa and her colleague were not aware of this case, and said that the file was with Brigadier Alal Ben Driss. Then she asked them, "How did the ring reach you?" "We found it in the possession of a person who is now being sought." The 2 inspectors asked permission to take the trousers from the late Othman Ben Rahal's suits. Haja Amina gave them permission when she learned that they were on the trail of her husband's killer. The 2 inspectors carried the trousers and rushed to the police station. They met Brigadier Mustafa, and Inspector Latifa presented the results of their investigation to him. He immediately went to the office of the regional commissioner and took the two inspectors with him. As soon as they stood before him, he placed the ring and trousers under his scrutiny and informed him that these items belonged to Mr. Othman Ben Rahal. As soon as Commissioner Ben Driss heard that and saw the ring, he stopped dialing a phone number. He stood up, opened his office closet, took out a file, and from the file took out a picture, placing the ring beside it. He confirmed that Brigadier Mustafa had perhaps discovered the thread leading to the killer of Mr. Othman Ben Rahal, the well-known contractor. The young commissioner accompanied him and went to the governor's office and briefed him on the details of the operation. The trousers matched the stolen coats that were found in the house of Hamid Old El Haddad, known as Janta, and it was the starting point of a new investigation. Janta's house was searched again, along with presenting the evidence that had been collected from the crime scene of Othman Ben Rahal's murder, and the results were dazzling. All the evidence led to Janta. He was the one who killed Othman Ben Rahal. Perhaps coincidence was what led to him, but Inspector Latifa's intuition did not fail and led to deciphering the secret of the ring. Solomon's seal, police files.